How am I finding the market? An interesting marketplace as we move into the fourth quarter. I certainly think that there's increased activity. Certainly 2017 is a better year than 2016. Deals are still hard to get to the finish line. We find that there are delays encountered because of being able to enter it into a maintenance facility. Either there's a disagreement over the contractual negotiations, pre-buys are taking a little bit longer. It's the same story as it's been for the last few years. Has the Trump bump busted? I think the Trump bump is over. That Trump bump was good for about the first 6 months of the year. It might have carried into the summer months, but quite frankly, in absence of anything really happening that was on the election agenda, to date, the Trump bump has fizzled. What is a recovery? I don't like to use the words the new normal, but I would like to say that I think we're entering into we're finishing out the second lost decade, at least in my aviation career. And I think in hindsight, a few years from now, people will be saying the same thing. The recovery is going to look different than it has at least in my 30-year career. It's going to be still a little bit of fits and starts. I think we'll see a spurt of activity, but it's very much subject to the economic mood within the United States, and there's always the threat of something to disrupt the recovery, an incident that could happen around the world that takes the focus off and makes people a little bit nervous, and they retreat from the marketplace. But for me, new aircraft sales are going to be flat, and the pre-owned may actually be the ones that continue to lead the recovery. Are the expectations of buyers and sellers coming closer together? I think the gap in the price point is starting to close among select models of aircraft. There may yet be quite some disparity between the two, but as is evidenced by some of the transactions I've been involved in the third quarter, carrying over into the fourth quarter, certainly we see a closer meeting of the minds. I would say that deals have been difficult for quite some time, but I think the frustration is growing that while we have increased activity, everybody's beginning to realize, oh my goodness, we can't get into the service center as soon as we would have liked to. We can't complete the transaction because service centers have done sort of a downsizing themselves during the economic decline, and now they find themselves full. And so there's a shortage of manpower to go around and space availability. Add to that the additional layers of lawyers I've been seeing lately added to a transaction, and then getting everyone to agree to how do we complete this deal, what do we sign off on, adds to the complexity of the transaction. What one thing would an aircraft buyer need to know? Actually, it's going to be a collection of things that I'll put under one umbrella. Assemble a qualified team to assist with the aircraft transaction. That runs from everything from the lawyer to a maintenance advisor, to your aviation sales professional, to your tax advisor. I'm sure there's a couple other team players we could throw in there, but it's extremely important for a prospective buyer, particularly if they are a first-time buyer, to assemble a qualified team.